Hey, they toss Steve in this cell like trash. No respect for good merchants these days. Name's Steve, Steve told them. Steve the Rat. Seller of salvation, collector of fine treasures, and occasional victim of misunderstandings. Even in change, Steve always smiles. Gotta smile, right? Keeps the world from biting harder. My eyes dart left and right, always looking for a deal. Always. Steve's been around longer than most, since the days Lord Lightfall took his shiny armor and dove into Ashen Pit to stop the darkness. A fool, Steve says. A noble fool. Gave everything away just so rats like Steve could steal it later. Funny thing, though, Steve never did steal from Lightfall's castle. Not even a single coin. Even rats have lines they don't cross. Long before Steve started selling miracles, Steve ran with the Rat Boys. Ugly bunch. Thieves, killers, liars. Steve fit right in. Stole what Steve could, killed when Steve had to, lied every time Steve opened his mouth. After a while, Steve forgot what part of Steve's life were real anymore. That's just how rats survive. Then came the 100 bride sacrifice. Now that was something. Marry 100 lovers, fall in love for real each time, then drive a blood sword through their skulls. Said it'd make a rat powerful. Sounded easy enough. Steve's good with words, good with charms. So Steve did it. Over and over and over again. Married, kiss, stab, move on. No heart, no pain, no problem. Until the 99th. She wasn't like the others. Didn't care for Steve's gold, or Steve's grin, or that fancy purple suit. She laughed when Steve lied, kissed Steve anyways. Made Steve feel warm. Made Steve believe maybe love wasn't a scam after all. Steve tried to run. Tried to skip the ritual, but the Rat Boys caught up. They laughed at Steve, called Steve soft, called Steve broken. They put the blade in Steve's hands, and she just looked at Steve. Didn't beg, didn't cry. It's alright, Steve, she said. Even rats deserve to love. Then, Steve did it. The blade went in. Her blood boiled. Her body burned. And Steve watched her vanish. No soul, no ghost, no nothing. Just ash. That's when Steve learned what the blood swords really were. Forged by death itself. Made to make sure some things stay dead. Steve ran that night. Left the Rat Boys behind. Didn't matter. The curse found Steve anyways. Right eye burned with death's mark. Blood forever boiling in Steve's veins. Steve is captured. Steve can't die. Steve can't rest. Only feel it. Over and over and over again. They say if Steve marries one more, the 100th bride, the curse will end. Steve will gain his power, and Steve will no longer feel this tremendous pain in Steve's body. One more deal. One more life. Easy, right? Steve still hears her voice. Steve feels her hands slipping from Steve's claws. Still sees that look. Forgiveness, even at the end. So now, when folks ask why Steve don't remarry, Steve just laughs. Because even a rat's got a heart. Steve's heart, well, died with her.